If you're moving to Hampton Roads, Virginia, this video could potentially save you $15,000 or more and prevent months of absolute misery. Last week, I got a panic call from a young lady. Let's just call her Jessica. But she is a Navy wife whose husband had just deployed, and she is a stay-at-home mom. She was literally in tears because their perfect Virginia Beach home had turned into a nightmare. Between the flood insurance they didn't know about before choosing their house, the 2-hour daily commute across the water, the mold growing in the basement after the first storm, they were thinking that they were going to face financial ruins. And guess what, y'all? Jessica's family isn't alone. In almost 10 years of helping families relocate to and from Hampton Roads, Virginia, I've watched the same 7 devastating mistakes destroy relocations over and over again. And let me be clear, these aren't minor inconveniences that most people learn to live with. For some, they're life-altering errors that cost families thousands of dollars, destroy marriages, and leave kids crying because daddy misses another school play because he's stuck in traffic. Here's the truth most real estate agents aren't going to tell you. 94% of Hampton Roads relocations fail in the first year because families fall into these 7 traps. But guess what, friends? You're not going to be a part of that statistic because in the next few minutes, I'm exposing every single mistake and giving you the insider knowledge that saved my clients tons of money every time they have to move. So stay tuned until number 1 because that mistake alone nearly cost one of my military clients their marriage. Let's get into it. Hey friends, thanks so much for watching my channel. If you are new here, welcome. I'm Sonali Hudson. My husband and I run a successful real estate team in Hampton Roads, Virginia. And on this channel, I strive to combine faith, inspiration, and real estate to bring you the fire that encourages your heart with kingdom principles and equips you with biblical wisdom to make confident real estate moves. Now today we're talking about the 7 devastating mistakes that could destroy your Hampton Roads relocation. Let's get into it. Now, the number 7 mistake that's costing families thousands is assuming that all Hampton Roads cities are basically the same. This drives me absolutely crazy because nothing could be more wrong. Let me tell you about a lady I worked with a few years ago. She was a single mom with 2 little boys working in healthcare. When she started looking for a home, she was focused purely on price and found an affordable house in Portsmouth. It was a cute little house. And she told me, Sonali, I just need something I can afford and I just want to own my house and blah, blah, blah. All the cities are the same. I said, girl, no, all the cities are not the same. They all have their own personalities. She did not listen. 6 months after moving in, she called me feeling overwhelmed and frustrated. And as a healthcare worker, she was already used to traveling throughout all of the Hampton Roads cities for her job, but she never really considered what city she actually wanted to live in until it was too late. The commute from Portsmouth to some of her work locations was eating up hours of her day, and she was losing time with her babies. The school districts weren't what she hoped for her boys in Portsmouth, and honestly, she no longer felt as safe in her neighborhood as she expected that she would feel. So she decided to sell her house and move to Suffolk, and of course, I got it done, thinking that Suffolk was going to solve her problems because she assumed that the cities were interchangeable. But here's what she didn't realize initially. Hampton Roads isn't one big city. It's 7 completely different communities, each with its own personality, its own taxes, its own schools, its own safety trainings, its own lifestyle, its own everything. Now, the property taxes alone will shock you. In Virginia Beach, you might pay $3,200 annually on a $400,000 home. That same home in Chesapeake, it might be $2,400. Guys, that's $800 per year difference. Now, each city has different school ratings, different crime statistics, different commute patterns, and even different cultural vibes. What works for a military family might not work for a single mom. What works for a retiree might not work for a young professional. So I don't want you to make the mistake thinking that all of the 7 cities is just one big city, because it's not. But let me know in the comments which Hampton Roads city sounds like the best fit for your lifestyle. I'd love to hear more from you about what you're looking for. I don't want you to make the mistake of thinking that all of the 7 cities are the same. Yes, we are one big region. Yes, we are the 757. But let me tell you, all the cities are completely different. There are some simple similarities, of course, but for the most part, every city has its own unique characteristics. So when you're thinking about where you want to live or what city you want to go to, definitely make sure you understand what that city is going to offer you. All you have to do is comment below or shoot me a text at 757-837-0096. I'd love to hear what city you think is going to be best for your lifestyle. Now, the number 6 mistake is ignoring flood zones. And this one literally can destroy your dream and your bank account. So let me tell y'all a story. I was working with a client a couple years ago named Emily. And let me tell you, she fell in love with this house that was near the water. It was beautiful. The price seemed reasonable. And she was ready to make an offer. Y'all, she had to have this house. But here's where my experience kicked in. I always do a thorough flood zone research for my clients because I've seen too many families get blindsided by having to pay for flood insurance in our area. When I pulled the flood map so that she could start getting insurance quotes, we discovered that flood insurance is going to cost her $650 a month. That was $7,800 on top of her mortgage payment. Her dream home had become completely unaffordable. But thankfully, we caught this before she made an offer and lost her earnest money deposit. Emily was shocked. She had no idea that flood insurance could ever cost that much or that it was even required in certain areas. Now, this is exactly why I research flood zones, get preliminary insurance quotes, and educate my clients about water concerns before we even start looking at properties. Now, here's what's really scary. Hampton Roads has had 17 major flooding events in the past decade. Areas that never flooded before are now underwater during heavy rains. I've seen beautiful Ghent neighborhoods turn into rivers, Virginia beach streets become lakes, and Hampton properties that have flooded 3 times in 5 years. Now, the Lord blessed us with these stunning waters. We're so blessed. The Chesapeake Bay, the Atlantic Ocean, the James River, the Elizabeth River. But we need wisdom living alongside them. As Proverbs said, the prudent sees danger and hides himself, but the simple go on and suffer for it. Just last month, I was showing properties to another family in Virginia Beach, and we walked through a house where the seller forgot to mention that the basement flooded every summer. Now, because I know what to look for, we found water stains, mold issues, and foundation problems that, if I had to estimate, would have cost my client over $25,000 to fix it properly. My clients actually dodged a major bullet. So this is why when I work with families, we always check flood maps first. We get preliminary flood insurance quotes before making offers. We research the property's flood history with neighbors and city records, and I personally inspect for water stains, musty smells, and foundation issues when we're doing showings. We also consider elevation because even a few feet can make a huge difference in the flood risk. So I don't want to scare you, but I definitely want to let you know that understanding the flood zones, understanding the flood maps, and understanding how being in a flood zone can impact your monthly mortgage payment or your annual mortgage payment, it's a big deal. So it's always something that you want to talk about before you relocate to the Hampton Roads area. So have you been thinking about relocating to Hampton Roads, Virginia? I've got just the thing for you. My team and I have actually taken the time to create the ultimate relocation guide, which is meant to save you hours of research, and I've linked it down below. From top employers, the best hospitals, and a boatload of other things that you need to know before making the move to Hampton Roads. And the best part, guys, it is 100% free. That's right, you heard me. It's 100% free. So just click on the link in the description or the top pinned comment. I hope it helps. God bless you. The number 5 mistake that costs families hundreds of hours every year and ruins countless plans is not understanding how military life literally shapes everything in Hampton Roads. Friends, we're home to the world's largest naval base, plus Langley, Oceana, Little Creek, and more. So it's not just about patriotism, it's about understanding how 300,000 plus military personnel is going to impact your daily life. Now, as your Hampton Roads agent, I make sure my clients understand this before they make any relocation decisions. Let me tell you, last year I was working with a client, his name is Ben, and his family who were moving from North Carolina to be stationed near Oceana. They didn't have family in the area and they needed hotel rooms during their house hunting trip. Now, because I understand how military events impact our local market, I checked the base calendar and I realized that their planned visit was the same time as a major ship homecoming week. I immediately contacted Ben and I explained what this meant. That hotels were going to be at crazy high prices if you could find them at all. Restaurants are going to have long waits and the rental market was going to get tight because thousands of sailors were going to return home and they were, of course, going to need housing. But using my travel agent connections, I was able to help them get hotel rooms ahead of the rush, and we changed their house hunting timeline to avoid the chaos. Now, this kind of planning is exactly why working with a local agent who understands military patterns really matters. Here's what military life means for your daily experience in Hampton Roads. First of all, traffic is going to get crazy between 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then again at 3 to 5. I've seen 15-minute drives become 90-minute nightmares when the base is let out, when people get into car accidents, all the things, right? So I always factor base closeness into commute planning when I'm helping my clients plan their trips. Now, housing competition is going to peak during PCS season from May through August. So I help my military families start their search early and my civilian families understand when to expect the most competitive market conditions. Now, y'all, jet noise is real. I said in another video, it is the sound of freedom. But if you live near Oceana, the F-18 Super Hornets fly training missions daily. Most locals call it the sound of freedom, like I said, but I make sure my clients who work from home understand flight patterns before choosing a neighborhood. Deployment cycles affect everything from school events to neighborhood activities. When half the dads are deployed, community life looks a little bit different, and I help families understand these rhythms. Now, the key is to working with someone who understands both military and civilian needs. I help military families navigate PCS timing and assist civilian families at understanding how military culture enhances our community. So let me know in the comments if you are military or civilian, because I love helping everyone find their perfect home in Hampton Roads. The number 4 mistake literally steals years from your life. Not understanding how bridge and tunnel crossings will control your daily schedule. Here's the truth about bridge and tunnels that I make sure all my clients understand before they choose a home location. The Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel, or the HRBT, connects Norfolk and Virginia Beach to Hampton and Newport News. Now, during rush hour, this 3.5-mile crossing can take 90 minutes or more. It's currently under massive construction through 2025, making delays even worse. The Monitor Merrimack Memorial Bridge Tunnel, or the MMMBT, connects Suffolk to Newport News. It typically has less traffic, but when accidents happen, you are trapped because there is no other route. The downtown and midtown tunnels connect Norfolk and Portsmouth with tolls that cost daily commuters $150 or more every month. The Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel is 17 miles long and costs $18 each way for a regular vehicle. One accident shuts down the entire crossing. When I'm working with families, I always calculate real commute times during actual rush hour periods, not just what Google Maps shows on a Sunday afternoon. A trip that takes 20 minutes on the weekend might take 90 minutes during Monday morning rush hour if it involves a bridge or a tunnel crossing. So you need to be aware of that. I've seen families spend 4 hours daily commuting because they didn't understand those crossings. That's 20 hours per week that's sitting in traffic. Time stolen from family dinners, kids' activities, and just enjoying your life in Hampton Roads. The bridge and tunnels also become critical choke points during hurricane evacuations and wind restrictions on the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, which can close to certain vehicles during a storm. Now, here's my rule that I share with every client. Live on the same side of the water where you go spend most of your time. I've said it already. A slightly smaller house on the right side beats a mansion that requires daily water crossings. Let me know in the comments if tunnel traffic stresses you out, because you are definitely not alone in feeling that way. But hey, traffic is a part of life here in the 757. And so the number 3 mistake that you want to avoid before moving to Hampton Roads is being unprepared for Hampton Roads weather extremes and how they impact your daily life. Now, while we have beautiful seasons, Hampton Roads has some unique weather challenges that newcomers don't often expect. Now, hurricane season runs from June to November, and our coastal location makes us vulnerable. Many newcomers don't realize that hurricane preparations are a normal part of life here. You need to know your evacuation zone, have a plan for your family and pets, and keep emergency supplies on hand at all times. Now, beyond hurricanes, Hampton Roads is what I call weather whiplash. Say it with me, weather whiplash. Y'all, we can have a 70-degree day in February followed by snow, or summer-like heat well into October, and then you have hail. The humidity in summer is intense, creating a heat index that often goes over 100 degrees. Now, winter brings its own challenges. Because snow doesn't happen often, the region isn't as prepared for snow removal as like someplace like Philly. So even a couple of inches of snow can shut down schools and businesses for days. Yes, you heard me say days. Ice storms can cause widespread power outages. Flooding during heavy rainstorms is common in low-lying areas, especially in Norfolk, even outside official flood zones. Through all of these weather challenges, our community comes together in beautiful ways. I've seen neighbors helping neighbors board up windows before storms and sharing generators during power outages. As the scripture says, bear one another burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. Now, the key is being prepared and understanding that weather is just part of life in our coastal region. Most locals will tell you that the benefits of living here far outweigh the occasional weather challenges. So let me know in the comments, have you ever heard the term weather whiplash? Well, it's kind of like the weather is bipolar. So it's okay. I don't want you guys to feel like the weather is something that is bad, because I love the weather here, but it does change from time to time. So you want to just be prepared for that before moving here. Now, the number 2 mistake that a lot of people make when relocating to Hampton Roads is not understanding our unique real estate market and the timing of the market. Now, that's key. The Hampton Roads real estate market is different from many other regions in several key ways that can honestly catch some people off guard. First, our market is heavily influenced by military transfer seasons. The peak PCS season typically runs from May through August, making those months extremely competitive for home buyers. Housing inventory gets tight, multiple offer situations become common, and prices often peak during this period. Now, on the flip side, the fall and winter months from October through February typically see less competition and often better deals for buyers. Now, I said typically, that's not 100% of the time, but if you have flexibility in your moving timeline, the off-season months can actually give you significant advantages. Another thing that people don't understand is our diverse sub-markets. Housing prices and appreciation rates vary dramatically across Hampton Roads cities and neighborhoods. Virginia Beach oceanfront properties follow different market patterns than suburban Chesapeake homes or historic Portsmouth neighborhoods. Additionally, many people don't realize that flood insurance requirements can significantly impact affordability and resale value. A seemingly affordable home might become less much attractive when mandatory flood insurance add hundreds to the monthly payment. Now, military buyers frequently don't understand the BAH rates across the different zip codes in the 757. BAH can vary by hundreds of dollars between nearby areas, affecting how much house you can afford in a different city. So if you're planning to move to Hampton Roads, don't make the mistake of applying general real estate assumptions to our very unique and lovely market. Work with me because I understand the local timing, military influences, and neighborhood-specific trends. Let me know in the comments when you're planning your Hampton Roads move. I'd love to know your timeline so I can help you plan accordingly. Okay, guys, are you ready for this? The number 1 mistake that has destroyed more Hampton Roads relocations than all others combined is not understanding how the water divide is going to control your life here. Okay, you probably don't know what I'm talking about, but Hampton Roads is really 2 separate regions. The peninsula, which includes Hampton, Newport News, and Williamsburg, and the south side, which includes Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Suffolk, and Portsmouth. Now, the James River and Hampton Roads Harbor create a significant geographical division that shapes how people live, work, play, and worship. Now, I've seen a lot of families make housing decisions based solely on home features or school ratings, and they didn't even consider the water divide, and unfortunately, they ended up regretting it later. Now, let me explain what the water divide actually means. For some people, it means social isolation. If your family, your friends, your church, or your support network are on the opposite side of the water, more than likely, you're going to lose those relationships because visiting can sometimes become too much of a hassle. Now, ambulances don't cross bridges to other cities, so your preferred doctors might be an hour away through traffic, and emergency situations can become complicated. Imagine having to pick up a sick child from school when you work in Newport News, but you live in Virginia Beach. So crossing the water means dealing with bridge traffic and tunnel traffic during an already stressful time. Now, daily bridge crossings mean 300 plus hours every year in traffic. Can you imagine? Not to mention over $500 a month in gas and tolls, plus your vehicle is going to have more wear and tear. Now, if there's an accident or an emergency at home, crossing the water during peak hours can take over 2 hours. Don't let there be an accident, y'all, because forget about it. People in Hampton Roads often develop a separate peninsula and south side social circle because crossing sometimes feels impossible. Here's the thing, my rule is simple. Live on the same side of the water where you're going to spend 70% of your time. Now, this might mean accepting a smaller house or paying more for the luxury, but the quality of life improvement is going to be huge. Now, Ecclesiastes reminds us this: better is a handful of quietness than 2 hands full of toil and a striving after the wind. Sometimes a smaller home with peace beats a mansion with daily misery. Let me know in the comments which side of the water matches your lifestyle better. Tell me if you think the peninsula or the south side is going to work better for you or your family. Now, if you want to learn more about how home ownership is more than real estate, it's about creating generational wealth. It's about being a good steward. And most importantly, it's about God's promises. Make sure you check out my new book, Home Ownership God's Way. You can grab it on Amazon or just reach out to me directly. I'll get you a signed copy. property. Let's recap the 7 mistakes that you absolutely must avoid when you're living in Hampton Roads. Number 7, don't assume that all of our cities are the same. Every city has a unique character, unique taxes, and unique lifestyle benefits. Number 6, don't ignore flood zones and water concerns. They're either going to cost you thousands or destroy your property, so don't ignore them. Number 5, don't underestimate military influence on traffic, housings, and daily life patterns. Listen, pay attention. Number 4, don't fail to plan for bridge and tunnel crossings that will control your schedule and steal your time. Number 3, don't be unprepared for weather extremes from hurricanes to hot weather and ice storms. Number 2, don't misunderstand our unique real estate timing and military influence market cycles. Guys, it's so important. And number 1, don't ignore the water divide that separates our region and could possibly separate your family. Friends, Hampton Roads is absolutely one of the most blessed places to live in America. I absolutely love it here. We have stunning natural beauty, incredible military heritage, diverse communities, amazing career opportunities, and a unique coastal lifestyle that blends Southern hospitality with naval tradition. But success here requires insider knowledge. The families who thrive in Hampton Roads are the ones who understand these 7 critical factors before they move, not after. Now, I've spent almost 10 years helping military and civilian families avoid these expensive mistakes and find their perfect home in Hampton Roads. I've seen too many relocations fail because families didn't have this information up front. Don't let that be your story. Here's what I want you to do right now. Text the word FIRE for faith, inspiration, and real estate to 757-837-0096, and I'll personally respond with insider tips and guidance for your specific Hampton Roads situation. I personally answer all of my texts and my comments because I genuinely care about your relocation success. Tell me in the comments, what was your biggest eye-opener from this video? Which mistake were you about to make? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if this video helped you avoid a costly error, please hit that like button and subscribe for more Hampton Roads insider secrets. And friends, I have to ask you, please share this video with anyone you know considering a Hampton Roads move. It could save them thousands of dollars and months of frustration. Thank you for trusting me with your relocation journey, and God bless you as you consider making Hampton Roads your home. I can't wait to help you avoid these mistakes and find your perfect place in our amazing region. And don't forget, text the word FIRE to 757-837-0096 for personalized guidance. I'll see you in the next video. God bless you.